Hi, my name is Mata, and I studied this week and last about what influence English has on Pakistan. And this will be an overview of how English was also first introduced to Pakistan and the continual influence that it had on this country. So, the introduction of English. The British controlled India and Pakistan, so like back in the 16th century. And since they controlled the land and their main language was English, they introduced that to the people. In order to communicate with them, the people had to learn the language. The school systems there started to teach the language because the advantage it gave individuals when dealing with political or business deals with the British. Many private schools also open up to give a better, more in-depth teaching of the English language. In this week's reading from I Am Malala, there is an example of just how one of these school owners, Malala's father, set up a school to teach English, and he overcame hardships related to the job and creating a business in Pakistan in the 20th century. And there were also definitely public schools that taught it. They just weren't as high of an education. They weren't quite as developed and as good as most private schools then. And there's more talk in this book about how many people founded schools and how popular of a business idea it was. And this reading will give you a better idea of the general importance of education, especially in English, for the Pakistani people. So in the academic paper, The English Language in Pakistan, a brief overview of its history and logistics, the author, Amar Mahbub, discusses the reason why English became such a politically important language. The Urdu and Hindu languages, the people that spoke them, they often had disputes in their little societies spread throughout Pakistan. And so they started sticking to just one or the other of their dialects. And so they became really territorial over that, and eventually they had to find a way to talk to each other in a neutral language. And so they chose English, which was already quite popular. And this just made it even more of a popular language. So Mahbub states, as a result of this politicization of local languages, English, because of its foreignness, has been referred to as a neutral language and gained political acceptance in the new countries. So just having been this middle ground language, it definitely was able to become a way that people resolve these different disputes that they had. And by new countries, Mahbub was referring to Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh as separate societies and nations. And of course, there were also sub-societies within these places that had to learn English to talk to each other. Here's just a map of Kashmir, West Pakistan, India, and East Pakistan, and several other places surrounding it, and just the position that it's at. We've already seen a lot of this map and maps that are very much like it throughout this class, but it just kind of shows especially the areas in which people would have to learn this language as well to communicate with each other. So in conclusion, English is one of the main Pakistani languages. As I mentioned earlier, it's spoken widely throughout Pakistan for both trade reasons and for political reasons, and just to even settle debates between people that just don't know the same languages as each other. It's valuable because of the diversity of speakers. As I mentioned, there are people that know English, but they don't know any other languages that the other people that they are speaking to actually know as well. So in order to bridge that gap, they use this neutral language, and there's not really any other languages that are foreseen to replace it, so it'll probably stay English for a while. And it's also taught all throughout Pakistan because it is such an influential language, and it's very helpful and basic. Though it is a very complicated language to learn, it's something that they all use, and they're able to communicate with each other through this way. So I hope you learned something about English in Pakistan, because I definitely did. And thank you for watching.